Aloha, everyone. Thank you and welcome to the Combined Committee. Um, we are here tonight. It is 7:08, calling this meeting to order Wednesday, July 15th. We have the roll call. Madam Secretary, if you could call the roll.
All right, we have Bryce Thon,
Here.
Nicholas Zehr,
Here.
Celina Monge,
Here.
Ken Schoolland,
Here.
Austin Martin,
Mostly here.
and I'm Abbra Green. I'm also here. Oops. Oh, I don't know what I just did there.
Oh.
That was the wrong command button.
I think we just got a preview of her secret plans to make bookmarks.
Sorry, let me adjust things here. Now I gotta reload.
It's no worries. I can move this along. The next thing is the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Discussion or amendments? Going once, going twice. Calling the question, is there any objection to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, passes without objection. Excellent. The next thing will be the agenda. If there's any proposed amendments to the agenda, anything that you guys want to talk about that isn't already on there, now is a chance to do so. Feel free to jump in case I don't see your hand, since I am a little bit impaired on screen. All right, hearing none, I'll move us to question. Is there any objection to the agenda? All right, hearing none, agenda is adopted without objection. We'll move on to reports. I'll try to keep this brief so it doesn't drag. We're doing good. We have things moving along in general in a pretty good direction. And one of the main things we're going to be discussing tonight is one of the big subjects that I would give you updates around, which is largely our fundraising progress in kind of getting a fundraising program hooked up and a proper fundraising engine installed in the LPHI, if you will. And so I don't want to waste your time too much on that. Things are moving along on our election fronts. We are doing good as far as the funds go. We don't have any candidates ready or able or in need of funds as it sits, so we've not dispersed anything. And see, what else? Am I missing anything, Madam Secretary, that needs an update?
Not that comes to mind.
Okay. Excellent. Most of the stuff can just kind of hold off and wait. I think I have some cool business to introduce to you guys coming up, and stuff that I'm working on. I don't know how much of it is ready for like committee action, but this is just FYI, a really good place if you have a project, you want to ask for help, you have an idea, you want to get somebody's collaboration on whatever. This is a great opportunity to bring it up and workshop things, combine committee. You're there's not really a whole lot of authoritative power this committee has, so a lot of it's for workshopping and ideas and such. So it's not like, you'll be yeah, I just hope that clarifies. Anyway, I'm sorry for taking too long on that. Any questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
All right, aloha. So just briefly going over the balances. The main change was to the CSC at $4,502.82. Most recent increased balance of PayPal is 206.46. Change between our last meetings and current is $83, with previous total being $33,115. and the current total being $33,032. Going through the recent expenses, quick question, Abra, do you get invoices for Wix?
I don't get invoices, no, but I know how to look up the bill totals on the back
Okay,
end.
if that's something we can access from the site, might need to coach me how to get to that, only because normally, like, we have the same recurring like subscription expenses for Wix. I noticed this one recently was 363, which was a little higher than usual. So,
Okay.
but
Let me also check, while you finish your report, I'll go ahead and check this,
okay, but otherwise,
implement structure report should have it also.
we still maintain pretty low operating costs. For the reporting touch points, CSC, we're on track. I'm gonna submit the report by tomorrow for the organizational and the that period reporting. For FEC, the July quarterly report is complete and submitted, so we are good to go for the next quarter. Regarding candidate funding, as we had voted and discussed, whenever both our candidates are able to um, receive funding, I know we already cleared $1,000 each. If either needs help with treasurer support, more than happy to help if that's not a conflict. A couple initiatives that we had recently as well. We had a couple issues brought up as far as the website, how the subscription buttons like function with the drop down, how for PayPal it was going to the old LPHI website, and those issues were fixed, as well as I know Abbra did a really awesome job with setting up the fundraising campaign coming up. Um, I also included three not subscription but just like payment bans for July 4th through into July campaign for fundraising as well, that will help like our upcoming convention, et cetera, costs. So those are some of the main initiatives right now. That concludes my report.
I had a question on that.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, so that's a individual campaign. So do you have the ability to track like exactly what came in from that one fundraising effort?
I can. I'll check
Or
on
is
it.
it all the same link? I'm not sure.
So there are three distinct links that I had to create. So three different campaigns essentially that were created through PayPal. I can try to check during the meeting and see if we've received anything through there.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate y'all's work. I definitely could use some treasurer support. I will take you up on that, Mr. Zehr. I don't think it'll be an issue, although I'm not sure. The handling funds thing. Um, I think the way Hawaii does it, they require your treasurer to be the signer on the bank account. And essentially, I mean, if I had somebody else that could be deputy and handle that stuff, that might be fine. Um, so let's get together and discuss that. That would be nice to get that taken care of before they start getting too antsy about me. Um,
Oh, hey, Abretta, to follow up on your question, July 6th, we had one generous donation. The donor is someone who is in the room with us.
Yes,
Yes.
that was probably the majority of it so far too, if I understand correctly.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you. We really appreciate. And I want to encourage people on the board that it is a good thing. It looks good for our donors and for other people to show our confidence in our organization. And so, until this organization can afford to, do paid board members, which is a whole different thing and a whole different animal, right? Then one really great way to encourage good fundraising culture is to give and to make these asks with each other and to find out if we can extend our network and get one person each week, if we can all just attempt to try to get one other person who wants to maybe make a pledge of $5 a month or $10 a month to the LPHI, that can make a huge difference, and those sustaining donors really add up. Anyway, I want to thank you, Ken,
Can I
for
make a comment?
please.
Yeah, actually, I think it's just as easy as just asking. I think people are willing and able, but they don't think about it until they're asked. And I recall Dick Rowland years ago. He was the chair of the party, and he was an insurance salesman. He never had any problems at all, just asking for people, "Hey, could you contribute?" And every people were always willing to do so. They just had to be asked.
That is
That
one
is
of the
a
things we've been
Makes it,
trying to force ourselves to learn.
yeah, it
it's
makes it very
true.
personal too.
It's an art, and it's something that does have to kind of be taught, and it's part of what we're working on is helping to create some institutional knowledge here that will help future volunteers to make sure that we don't end up in a position where we don't have the talent that we need, um, or the knowledge that we need to be able to keep things moving forward. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for bringing that up. I'm gonna have to mute here. Guys, I'm sorry, my device might fail me here, so that's why I made Abbra the host. I'll try to hop back on as soon as possible if it does. Just
Mr.
FYI.
Zehr, to answer your Wix question, we did have a bill that came through on July 16th. That still sounds high to me, so I'll go ahead and check the back end when we get off of here also to just see exactly what the itemization was on that.
Thanks.
You can
All
still hear
right,
me.
so just to remind everyone, we have our volunteer action hub, which is basically our active revolving to-do list. You can click through, put checks on different goals for all of our little initiatives and committees. So be sure you're checking that frequently. And then we have the membership contact member pipeline is what Austin requested from the last meeting that we had. This basically breaks down what happens to your contacts after you get a signature. So once your initial touch, like your signature drive or your petition, your QR code that goes to the Google Forms in the activism packets, all of those names get logged, and it creates a pipeline where it can go from new contact, you log it promptly, welcome in 48 hours, nurture with rhythm, you activate, and then you do your ask and recruit and turn into a recruiter or a donor, right? This will actually probably be its own webinar once I get it finalized. Right now it's open for the combined committee members to throw in their comments, just in case there's anything that I kind of spaced on or that has a big hole or, brings up more questions than answers. I want to try to clear all of that up before I teach other people how to do it. And then we will probably also either do individual walkthroughs or a private session to go through how to do it on the spreadsheet itself, because Google Sheets can be a little tricky, but once we're all on the same page with it, it should work really smoothly. So as far as this goes, we take you through from sign up to building the relationship. And it's all kind of in like an easy checklist type format. and the contacts work their way through stages in our spreadsheet. So we know exactly, no matter who's doing that task, they know exactly what stage they're in and kind of where they're sitting and how to communicate with them. I don't want to necessarily exhaust it on a webinar tonight. Like I said, I'm still troubleshooting it some. So any suggestions that you guys have, it might look a little big, but it's spread out well, and it's basically bullet points. So I would love any feedback you guys have on that. And I really, we can at any point pick up any of our initiatives, try to gather, a sheet of signatures helps, and we'll get the ball rolling on that pipeline. I don't really have too much more to cover unless somebody else has anything to add.
I'll chime in before my device completely dies out here. The fundraising is critical, and it's not something that we need to make into a different task, but something that we need to include into everything that we're doing. I have a way and materials to help teach you guys how to do the ask, how to teach myself to. This is hard. It's a thing that you have to learn to do unless you've already been trained or cultivated to it. There's ways to target, particular demographics and donors and ways to interact with them that make them feel valued and cared about as individuals. And there's things that we can discipline ourselves to do with our CRM, especially if we get a decent CRM. And even if we are just working off of spreadsheets, we can very effectively log what happens, giving us institutional memory and institutional knowledge that will help others when they come to sit in these seats, and that will also help us and make sure, most importantly, that we're keeping track of who's touching these relationships, that they're not just sitting. Like Ken mentioned a minute ago, sometimes all you have to do is ask. A lot of people are willing, they want to do this, they want to donate, they want to give and be part of what we're doing. All we have to do is invite them. So this is definitely a really important, key cornerstone. And we have some practical steps that we can take to get the LPHI's fundraising to truly a next level. The sustaining donors that we're going to be looking, for instance, to look for monthly donors, people who are willing to give a small amount, $5-10 per month, right? Even if there's something that we can get them, like a commemorative pen or a badge or a card, whatever it is. It should be something. We've got a pretty good budget there for people who do that kind of thing. But the point there is that getting those kinds of donations helps us keep the lights on, and enables us to go court larger donors, to really be able to support campaigns, to do more stuff that needs to be done. And yeah, so if we build this correctly, we should have some good internal systems within the LPHI that help us manage our data, help us manage our relationships, and help make sure that donor outreach is happening and that network maintenance is happening. I'm going to just open it up for any questions about kind of on this topic, because there's a lot. I have a 60-page book. It's not huge, but it is in the book category of kind of a how-to manual for doing this. And I'm happy to answer any questions and share with you guys kind of what I know about this, and welcome anyone else with experience to share it with us.
Mr. Schoolland, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to comment. I really like your point. Just acknowledgement is an extremely appreciated reward for people. I mean, it's in many cases, in most cases, it's even appreciated. It's appreciated more than money. Just acknowledgement of good deeds and good positive action. So that's I really endorse what you've been saying on that. Bravo.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a motivating thing, and people, you all represent leaders on this board and of an entire movement that is, tens of thousands of voters strong here in Hawaii, at least. And so when you speak and you say, hey, on behalf of the party, I want to thank you for what you're doing here. It makes a difference. That can make a huge difference to how someone feels about a lot of things. And, just be free with uh with that, and realize, like, with acknowledgement, intentional acknowledgement, institutional acknowledgement is a really big deal. And that is kind of a currency for us, if you think of it that way. And I'm sorry to institutionalize it like that, but we just need a little practice getting our game on with this stuff. I'm going to have the opportunity to mingle with some donors, some Massey donors, coming up later this month. So I will be traveling. It's going to be kind of difficult, but hopefully I'll be able to bring back some really good news for our state party. And I'm also trying to work on a deal that, if I can gotta get the lawyers on the same page before I actually do anything, make sure that everything's good. But it would give our state the chance to do another joint fundraising committee with libertarian candidates in key districts in the federal level. And it would allow us to help pour money into winnable races where libertarians really matter and make a big difference, and also be able to really grow our state party and give us a really useful cash flow budget that we haven't had since last year. So if we do this, we would be probably leading the way on this, and it'll be really fun to see. We tried to propose it actually on the LNC not long ago to explore it, and there's been mixed reception on how they feel about it, but we don't actually need anything from them to do our own thing statewide. So, um, any questions for me before my phone dies? Sorry, guys, I'm having a technical issue with my phone. It is not charging for some reason. So. Cool.
Would a motion to adjourn be appropriate, Chair?
If you want, you could continue on the topic. I would open it up to the floor and ask the members if they have anything else that they want to talk about, either along these lines or other business. And if there's no further discussion, then a motion to adjourn is fine. I just want to invite you guys. I have the willingness and I have the resources, I think, to be able to do some pretty cool outreach stuff. So let's commit to doing some fundraising and network expansion. Maybe post like a challenge or a set of goals for each of us, like a +1. If we could all bring a +1 to the next combined committee, or to the next, which committee meetings suck, or do a simple like challenge where it's like, hey, we'll buy appetizers and drinks, right, for anyone that shows up to this, and if that's what makes it happen, then that's what makes it happen. But anyway, sorry, I'm scattered. I'm watching my battery drain away.
We were talking about doing maybe like a barbecue or potluck or something as like a regular, like maybe quarterly or so. I don't know. Is that along the same line?
Yes, yes, yes. And if you want to help out and step up on that with us, we really want to do that. We're just we're quite busy. That's a lame excuse. Yes, I'm intending to do that for sure, and any help is appreciated.
I also thought about maybe making the non-member segment of our list with each individual contact having its own owner, and so that we're making more individual touches to those people. It's a very small list to start with, and we can kind of test out our new model.
Oh yeah, thank you, Abbra, for bringing that up. You should explain that and let these guys know kind of what you're thinking about that, and some of those little initiatives, and just feel free to share anything. I am crashing out right now, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, I think he lost his battery. I'm going to motion to adjourn, and we can keep the conversation going afterwards if you want.
Sure, I'll
A
second.
second.
Yeah.
Is there any objection? Hearing none. We are adjourned at 7:33 p.m.
Okay. I got to take off. I've got some errands I have to run. So I'll see you all again soon.